Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a monumental, honestly almost evolutionary choice that's currently facing humanity. We'll be looking through the lens of Othmane's framework, The Great Reconciliation. We're going to map out the real root of our modern exhaustion, look objectively at the diverging paths before us, and finally, explore an incredibly optimistic vision for how we might not just survive, but truly thrive in the chapters ahead.
Okay, let's dive into this. It starts with a pretty fundamental diagnosis of our modern condition. Have you ever stopped to wonder why, despite all of our amazing technological marvels and literally having the world's information at our fingertips, modern life often feels so biologically exhausting? Why is there this pervasive, almost background hum of burnout and disconnection? Well, the source text argues that we're essentially experiencing a massive, specific kind of environmental mismatch. The author defines this condition as urban neurosis. Think about it. We've built these massive megacities, what the text actually calls a concrete crust, and they are absolute masterpieces of human intellect, truly. But the premise here is that these incredibly static environments cut us off from our natural, organic, kind of wiggly biological rhythms. It's a state of chronic distress. Why? Because our highly advanced habitats perfectly satisfy our logical minds, but they essentially starve our ancient natural instincts.
To really visualize this feeling of being totally out of sync, the text uses a couple of really powerful ecological fables. First, you have the conscious canary. This represents that part of us that senses the disruption in the coal mine of modern living way before the danger is actually visible. Then, there's the metaphor of the atom stork. This frames humanity as an animal species guided by intellect that has, well, temporarily flown off course. We're up in the air, basically desperately seeking a landing strip so we can finally reconnect with the Earth.
Because of our incredibly rapid technological sprint, humanity has basically arrived at a critical crossroads. We are forced to choose between two very distinct paths forward. Path A is what he calls the Transhumanist Trap, which is the idea of editing human nature to fit our highly artificial world. And then there's Path B, the regenerative alternative, the idea of actually healing our human habitats to naturally support our biological nature.
Path A, the Transhumanist Trap.
Now, this first path represents a seductive, but potentially deeply flawed technological escape from that biological burnout we just talked about. It objectively explores how society might seek to just escape its alienation through things like permanent virtual reality, or by using technology to literally edit our neural pathways to manage anxiety. Ultimately, this represents a hypothetical future where humans essentially surrender their natural biological agency. We'd rely entirely on centralized digital grids rather than our own instincts to navigate the world. To understand the logic driving this trap, the text looks at the analytical projections of thinkers like Yuval Noah Harari. He warns of a hyper-centralized future where artificial intelligence fully surpasses human cognitive abilities. The inherent danger in this framework is that if you define value purely by economic utility and data processing speed, AI might treat our complex, messy human nature merely as an inefficiency. It could potentially view vast portions of humanity as totally redundant. So, the crucial point is that the transhumanist path relies on a massive assumption, the assumption that human biology is the problem that needs to be edited out. It does this rather than recognizing that our poorly designed concrete habitats are what's causing the distress in the first place.
Path B, the regenerative alternative.
This brings us to Chapter 5's incredibly optimistic structural solution. Instead of editing out our humanity to survive the machine, what if we use state-of-the-art technology to actively heal our habitats? Enter the Kasaba 3000 Eco-Village. This is the ultimate visual contrast to the concrete cage of radical urbanization. It's a proposed holistic settlement, a sort of decentralized arc, designed not to fight nature, but to heal the Earth and return true agency and independence right back to the individual. Let's move to and see how this builds out practically. These settlements operate as garden generators, using a completely closed-loop ecosystem. They rely on 4 key steps: generating their own energy from the sun and wind, recycling gray water right through internal botanical cells, utilizing thick earth and stone walls to naturally regulate temperature without any fossil fuels, and finally, producing nutrient-dense food. The whole goal is to shift the human habitat from being a parasitic consumer to an active regenerative producer.
But you know, a village, even a beautiful, self-sustaining one, can still feel static over time. That's why the author introduces the seasonal dynamic migration hypothesis. The idea is that humanity could use our amazing advanced logistics to literally migrate with the sun. By moving between northern hubs, let's say in Germany, and southern hubs, like down in Morocco, populations could stay comfortably within a natural temperature frame of 18 to 24 degrees Celsius, all without burning a single drop of fossil fuels.
And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast. Instead of enduring static confinement in concrete grids, literally burning massive amounts of our precious fossil fuel inheritance just to artificially heat and cool our boxes, we could just sync with the Earth. This dynamic migration entirely prevents the exhaustion of fighting the climate. It offers a life that actually aligns us with the natural rhythms of the world.
By combining these garden generator settlements with seasonal migration, the narrative of the coming chapters flips completely. Humans are no longer viewed as a plague or some redundant, useless class. Instead, with this regenerative framework, humanity steps up to become a keystone species. The incredibly positive outcome here is realizing that human technology, human hands, and human agency are absolutely not the enemy of the planet. They are literally the ultimate cure for it.
So as we stand at this immense biological and technological crossroads, we're left with a truly provocative thought to take away. Will we accept the transhumanist trap and just edit out our humanity simply to survive the sterile machines we've built? Or will we use our massive intellect to build the garden, to heal our habitats, and finally allow the human family to truly thrive? It's an explainer that certainly makes you look at your city and, honestly, your own biology in an entirely new light.